So the concerns are valid, but there are also some perks. And I really want to echo all of the security concerns that Ms. Galloway, Mr. Condos, Mr. Newman have echoed. So it's extremely convenient is one of the perks, right? And it's awesome. So I lived in Italy in 2017 and I was following the midterm elections there. And when I came back to DC in 2018, I'm from Chicago, so I requested my first mail-in ballot. And it was a great experience, right? I got to sit and take time and YouTube the candidates, actually pay attention to what they had to say. And it was easily, honestly, transparently, one of the most nonpartisan votes I've ever taken in my life. And according to studies from Stanford, Cambridge, an analysis of the vote by mail states like Oregon, Washington, Colorado, Hawaii, states like Vermont doing excellent work, vote by mail expansion increases participation for both parties. And that is great. And it also saves localities money, especially during the pandemic. So all the perks, that's great. But there are some very valid risks that voting by mail comes with. So if states don't think through their processes, administrative errors, voter errors can make a lot of ballots invalid, right? And that will cause a complete uproar. And like everyone has said, and I'm going to say again, the point of democracy, the reason democracy, we have faith that it'll work, right? We believe that our votes are going to be counted. So any of these type of errors that could just have been honest, if they result in a lot of ballots not being counted properly, we have a problem. States who want to expand their vote by mail process but haven't taken the proper security measures to assess or update their voter rolls, or like Vermont did, get a true assessment of what their vulnerabilities are, you could be sending ballots to people who have moved, passed away, died, or who are otherwise ineligible to vote. And there are nefarious actors, not just our foreign adversaries, but also here on US soil, who look to take advantage of those types of things and look to, conduct what would be illegal electioneering if you were physically at the polls, or they look to steal people's ballots, fill them out, act like they're theirs. And that's what we call ballot harvesting, and that's a problem. Mind you, the concerns that I just mentioned haven't even touched the concerns of Mr. Newman and Mr. Condos, all which they rightly mentioned. So the states that have moved to vote by mail, they've taken their time to do so. It took them a while to implement their security measures. And I'm from Chicago, like I mentioned, and we participate in the ERIC program, the Electronic Registration Information Center, whereby we do our best to make sure that voter rolls are clean as possible. So I think that is a suggestion to quell some of the concerns that people have about ballot harvesting. And the instances of ballot voter fraud are actually, incredibly low, even according to research coming out of conservative think tanks. So, don't let the news scare you to death about who's right, who's wrong. But, the idea is to do your best to not make overwhelming changes to, your process, and make sure that security implications are always top of mind to make vote by mail as safe as possible. I'm definitely going to echo what everyone has said again, which is if I was talking directly to campaigners, I would really want them to remember that the existence of democracy happens because we have faith that our vote matters. That literal, it seems, whatever, but the faith part is extremely important. So what that means is that that you should develop a very healthy relationship, and I believe that you should do so, with your Board of Elections officials, healthy and legal relationship. Stay very up to date on what changes they are making to voting requirements. As we know, a lot of primaries have been moved. People didn't know what was going on. Living through COVID, information changes every other minute. People have missed messages that their favorite polling places were closed because, like Ms. Anna mentioned, we have a reduced number of volunteers, right? So voter disenfranchisement can happen inadvertently or on purpose if the everyday voter doesn't know what the state is doing. And this is where campaign workers come in. Through conversations with your family, your neighborhood, and in your local work, regularly share to everyone, not just the people you're trying to persuade, what your voting options are in your state. And do your best as a campaign staffer, you're trying to get your guy to win, to separate electioneering for your candidate from disseminating non-political fact-based information. to all the constituents, because it'll help boost that faith that these people are getting the same information from multiple channels. Even, aside from social media, people's distrust in information that comes from, a nice little volunteer from a campaign or a campaign worker is extremely low. So that is an effort that, could be worked on by campaigners. And it'll help everyone.